All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another day of SaberSim's DFS office hours. Today is Friday, September 20th of 2024. And looking ahead here, we have a big MLB Friday slate, 12 games today. So it should be a fun day of DFS and plenty of DFS action heading into the weekend. I think we also have 3-game college football slate today. So good luck to you all on slates today. But for those of you who are new here, welcome. My name is Andrew. I'm one of the coaches over here at SaberSim. This is a show where we go over how to use the SaberSim app, answer any and all DFS related questions. Get your questions in one of 3 ways here. First off, send us an email, support@sabersim.com. Second, post it live in the YouTube chat. Third way, post it in the office hours channel in our Discord server. If you're not in our Discord and want to get access to that channel, there is a link in the description of this video. You'll also get access to our similar channels, individual sport channels, and you get access to the rest of the SaberSim team. Just can't say enough good things about the Discord. But with that said, we do the show Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern. We do the show on Saturdays at 12:30 p.m. Eastern. So we will be right back at it tomorrow. All right. With that said, let's get SaberSim pulled up here and let's get our questions rolling. We'll start with questions in the Discord first, as always, and then we will jump over to any questions coming in from the live YouTube chat. So let me pull in today's questions. I didn't get a chance to pull them in before, so it looks like we have one from Sammy. Looks like Interrogator is having some success. Congrats, Interrogator. Got a couple additional questions here, so let's queue these up, and then we will dive right in. All right, looks like 2 more. All right, so let's get rocking and rolling. First question. Hey, Andrew, let's say I am setting a rule of under, example, 20%. Is it possible to add a sub rule or less than 5% for NFL Showdown, or will they conflict with each other? So it sounds like we're trying to write 2 rules, right? So maybe let's go to, Sunday, NFL. Take one of these showdowns that are coming up. So you could come in here and it kind of depends what you're looking to do, right? So the first thing I would do is start with the smaller rule where it's saying use at least one player, leave group by unchecked. And then, maybe you only want to do this for the flex. I don't know. Where, the requirement is my own is less than 5, right? And then I save that. And then I could do a second rule that also says, hey, use at least one, my own less than 20. Now, I'm almost positive, and we're going to test this just to be sure. I'm almost positive that one player will not satisfy both rules. And the reason I think that is based on like how the stacking rules work in MLB, right? Like if you want 2 3 stacks, then you write 2 different rules, and 1 3 stack does not satisfy both. Each rule gets satisfied individually. So we can just test this, right? So I just ran this build. And it looks like, okay, we have 1 person under 5%, 1 person under 20. Did I leave both selected? I think I left both selected for the second rule. So we could even turn this off, adjust, and then rebuild. So now I'm doing this only for the flexes, right? So now both rules should be set up the same. Oops, nope, don't want to do that. Cancel. All right, so now it's the same for the flexes. So let's let these lineups build. So now what I'm expecting to see is 2 players under 20% per lineup. So Doolin under 5. So maybe one player is satisfying both. Okay, so based on what I'm seeing here, it looks like one player can So what I would do is I would change the 20% rule to say use at least 2 while leaving the ownership under 5 as is. So basically the under 5 people are going to be captured in the 20. Well, then you're adding a second rule or a second requirement to add a second player that is separate from that one. So this is actually the way I would do it. So let's try this one more time. Okay, we see Downs and Ogletree, check. Downs and Gould, check. Granson Gould, check. Carter Doolin, check. Yeah, see, so this is going to be the way to do it. So write 2 rules, one with 1 player under 5%, and then the second rule with 2 players under 20. That way a second player is indeed used. So this will work. All right, glad we were able to get Sammy an answer there. Next question for NFL. I know we can select what we like for primary and secondary. What would be the approach for a third mini stack on the old build if I wanted to have the same lineup in multiple single entries, just have one under lineups? Does single fill do that now? Or is there a different way to have a duplicated lineup like before? Thanks. Okay, so 2 questions here. So the first one is talking about you would basically just use rules for this. So what I would do is say, rule 1. Let me just get rid of all these other ones from other tests we've done. So the first one is maybe I want a quarterback and a wide receiver together, right? So then what I could do is I could do this a couple different ways. I could come into stack advanced, and then I could say, hey, use 1 quarterback with at least 1, maybe wide receiver, tight end. So greater than or equal to 1. And that's all I want, right? Quarterback, wide receiver, tight end, save. Now what I want, it would be a second stacking rule where I go advanced and I could say use equal to 0 quarterbacks. And maybe I want a position player. So, maybe I want exactly 1 position player with 1 position player on the other team. And then this would be rule 2. Or this one should have been 1. So then now that my first rule is my quarterback and my receiver, and then I have a mini stack, and then maybe I want like my maybe I want a second mini stack, right? So I think that was what the question was. Like, hey, how can I have a third mini stack, right? Then I would write 1 more. Advanced, running back, wide receiver, tight end, say equal to 1 with 1 wide receiver, running back, tight end on the other team. And then name this 3. So then now I have 3 rules. So let's see if these build. All right, we're just waiting for lineups to build now. Uh-oh, we might have broke it. This should work. In theory, it should work. So the build failed. So I'm going to have to test this a little more off stream to figure out how to write 3 rules. 3 stacking rules. And I'm going to basically send this in to give myself a reminder. So QB plus 1. 1-1. Secondary. 1-1 secondary. Because you have 3 receivers, 2 running backs, 1 tight end, 1 flex. So one of the receivers gets used with the quarterback. That leaves you 2 receivers, 2 running backs, a tight end, and a flex. It should be able to work. So I'm going to send this in, and I will get back to Sammy after the show, after I do a little bit more digging into why that is happening. But I'm probably just writing the rule wrong somewhere. All right. When adjusting the min-unique, shouldn't so it won't always change right away. And the reason for that is maybe your lineups are actually so diversified out of the gate that the threshold hasn't been met yet. So this is one of the changes. This is like one of the most prominent things I've noticed since we made the contest sim update in August, was that you could actually increase min uniques to like 4 or 5 without seeing a change. And that means that your top, whatever lineups you're viewing, are that much different already. So the example here would be that, I'm going to go and create a custom contest sim. And then